Horses are much less effective at cooling during exercise than humans are. Because of this, it is important to take caution during the summer months to prevent heat stroke, which can be deadly. Horses' main way of cooling is through dilation of the capillaries in the skin. Blood flows through the body and heat is absorbed from the muscles and organs. When the blood reaches vessels nearer to the surface of the skin, the heat dissipates into the outside air. During exercise, heat generated by the muscles is substantial. To help maintain a constant internal temperature, the horse will need to sweat if worked past the point of the capillaries being able to dissipate heat on their own. Sweat cools by evaporating and carrying heat away from the body and into the air. Panting and flattening of the hair also have minimal cooling effects. A general rule of thumb is to use a formula of air temperature in Fahrenheit plus relative humidity in a percentage to determine whether or not it's too hot to work your horse. Horses cool most effectively in conditions under 130. Their ability to cool starts diminishing at 130 to 150 and is greatly reduced at over 150. Greater than 180 could be fatal if horse is stressed. After finishing a ride, I walk my horse for a few minutes before heading back to the barn to untack and immediately hose him. I do this because when the air is hot, his body isn't cooling down fast enough while walking, especially when in the sun. A popular myth in the horse world is that it is dangerous to hose a hot horse with cold water. This is false. Hosing with cold water is the quickest way to bring down your horse's body temperature. If your horse is prone to tying up, you may just want to avoid the large hind end locomotory muscles, but there's no real evidence to prove that this is a factor in preventing a tie-up. While hosing, you want to target the areas that generate the most heat. These are large muscle groups like the chest and neck, as well as areas where blood vessels are running extremely close to the skin, such as the upper inside of the front and hind legs. You'll want to saturate most of the body with cold water, but it is very important not to leave the water on for too long before you scrape it off with a sweat scraper. When left on, the water will heat up from the body heat and will provide an insulating layer. This will make the horse hotter. By scraping it off, you remove the insulator and allow for more effective evaporation. Now you may notice that your horse is still warm after the first hosing. After scraping off the first layer of water, you may repeat the hosing and scraping process until you feel that your horse has cooled enough. When you're done hosing, scrape off the water one last time, then walk your horse. While walking, do your best to stay in the shade. The movement of walking will help generate a breeze, which will help with more effective cooling. If you have access to fans, these are also very useful for creating air movement and allowing for more effective cooling. Some other popular cooling techniques include placing towels on the skin and using a sponge on the poll of the horse, but these are found to be largely ineffective due to the towels trapping heat and creating an insulator, as well as the poll not being a great area for heat dissipation in comparison to other muscle groups and blood vessel-rich areas of the body. Hydration after exercise is very important. Another horseman's myth is that it's bad to allow a hot horse to drink. This is false. If your horse wants to drink prior to cooling out, you should allow them to do so. Make sure that your horse has constant, or near constant if during exercise or at a show, access to water, especially in the summertime. Horses have hypertonic sweat, meaning that it is higher in electrolytes. Their sweat contains approximately 10 times as much solute as human sweat. It is important to make sure that your horses are getting enough electrolytes in their diet, as these help retain the water within the body. Your horse will not be able to properly rehydrate if they are unable to replenish electrolytes. I like to use ice vibe boots after exercise to help cool the legs and allow for cold therapy to assist with any stress related to exercise. The Ice Vibe boots have 3 vibration settings to allow for a mix of vibration and ice therapy. These are an excellent product for ease of use and as a preventative measure for any stress injuries from exercise. Another important thing to keep in mind is that during summer months, protective boots can trap too much heat if they do not have good ventilation. If the soft tissues get too hot, they can be easily damaged and this can result in injury. This is one of the reasons why performing hard exercise in the summer whilst using fleece polos or sheepskin may not be the best idea. Lastly, when working your horse in the summer, it is important to consider heat acclimation. If your horse will be needing to exercise at the hottest point of the day for shows or traveling somewhere warmer to show, you'll want to give them time to adjust to the heat. Heat acclimation allows for an earlier onset of sweating and an increased sweating rate. It is a gradual process requiring a minimum of 14 days with a full range of adaptations occurring in 21 days. Allowing horses outside time for 1 to 4 hours during the hottest parts of the day will result in acclimation results. If your horse is not used to the heat, gradual increase is necessary. Up to 1 hour of the period in the heat, 4 to 5 times per week, can be spent exercising at moderate to high intensity. Intensity and duration should be about 50% of what the horse usually does for training and can build up as they become acclimated. It is important to take breaks and train your horse to drink during rest breaks. Ensuring that your horse is properly hydrated, effectively cooled, and worked in appropriate weather conditions will allow for your equine athlete to achieve optimal performance. A happy horse equals a happy rider. Enjoy your equine friends and make sure that they have ample access to shade and water this summer, both while working and while in turnout. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe.